I found a job that could probably work for me in the short term, but maybe not the long term, but also could be a stable role for me moving forward. And I found myself thinking, oh, I don't want to apply for this job because I don't know if they're going to pay this much or if they'd be willing to pay me higher for my experience. But I had the necessary skills to take on this job and translate it to that job. There would definitely be a lot for me to learn. I've never managed a facility before. I've never been in charge of a facility or a place or an office, but I knew this, I had the skills, the education, and everything necessary to do the job, but I still found myself talking myself out of it, which is just disheartening. I think that sometimes we see something that we're like, oh, we want to take this risk, we want to do this job, but it's not going to pay what we want to pay. I know I look at all of these jobs and I'm like, oh, this salary would be nice, this amount would be nice. And sometimes I even forget taxes. So that's another thing to think about. I think that my dad has had to tell me multiple times, you need to be making X amount of money to pay off your loans. I have almost 6 figures in loans. It's about 80,000, just principal. So it's more than that. And my dad has told me multiple times, Abby, you would have to make $100,000 in a year to pay that off in a year. I think it's so easy to want to pay something off so fast. And it's crazy that my student loans is quite literally 1/4 of my parents' house. I think that's not the exact number, but I don't want to calculate the exact number for you. So if my parents are not too worried about paying it off in a certain amount of time, I shouldn't be worried about paying mine off in a certain amount of time. Yes, I think debt does cause you to have a hold on life sometimes. So right now would not be a good time for me to invest in my future. I could ask my parents, hey, if you have any extra income, could you please invest in my future? But they would probably rather put that extra income to their future savings goals, especially retirement, because retirement would probably be coming up faster for them than it is for me. And all of us should probably be saving for in case there is an emergency of any type. Although, knowing my parents, I'm sure they've already saved for those things. But I need to save for those as well. So what I'm just trying to say is, I think that you just have to take life one step at a time. Sometimes you have to take part-time roles to get to a full-time role. Sometimes you have to take a small job in between 2 jobs. Or maybe you just work part-time. My sister-in-law, she has 2 part-time roles right now that I think equate to more than full-time. And one of those roles is an office manager role, and she will soon be leaving that because they're about to have a child. I think she's leaving it in a couple of months. But she's told me on FaceTime today that she feels like it would be nice to have a full-time job rather than part-time roles. And I think it's nice to be paid by hour because it's like you can earn more money, and like if you go above 40 hours, I think you have to go above 40 hours in one job. You can get overtime and stuff like that, depending on where you work and who you work for. But it's just something to keep in mind. Like, whether you get paid overtime or by salary or by hour, you will still be paying taxes, and your money may go farther, it may not go. The thing is, with a salary, it's easier to budget, whereas with a pay per hour, you can just only guess what you're getting. And to be frank and honest, I've been paid by hour ever since I started working, and it's kind of not inconsistent. Like, I know I'll be earning this amount of money, but it's like it's inconsistent in like how many hours do you think you're gonna work per week? You know what I'm saying? So do one thing today to set you up for success tomorrow.